Hello everyone, welcome to the complex analysis series on your demand. I am making this series and I will try to upload the videos as soon as possible or complete this series. So without wasting time हम अपना topic start करेंगे कि what about the complex number, and I hope so that you are already familiar with this topic in class 11th and 12th. So we will just take a recap or remember about some basic points about the complex analysis or the complex numbers in this video. So what are the complex numbers? So you already know that the numbers which are in the form of x plus iota y, the numbers which are in the form of x plus iota y, we call it to be the complex number. Here this is the notation which I am using over here for the complex number or the complex function. सो जब हम कोई भी नंबर x प्लस आयोटा y की फॉर्म में लिखते हैं वो हमारे क्या होते हैं, कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर्स होते हैं, जिसके अंदर द नंबर विच आर अदर देन विद द आयोटा और यू कैन से द x इज कॉल्ड टू बी द रियल पार्ट एंड द नंबर विच इज एसोसिएटेड विद द आयोटा it called to be the imaginary part. So always remember the number which is associated with iota is the imaginary and another part would be the real part. Where इसके अंदर जो आप नंबर पढ़ते थे कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर में, जहाँ पे आपके x और y क्या होते थे, x and y are your coordinates. I hope you understand this part, that this is not a very complex way, because this is the topic of our class 11th. But now in the higher mathematics we have to study about the complex function which is a part of the complex analysis. So now अभी तक हम बच्चे के बारे में पढ़ रहे थे, अब हम उसके पेरेंट्स के बारे में पढ़ेंगे. So what is the complex function? So the complex function is again the similar way, because जिसका बच्चा है उसी का तो बाप है, तो वो क्या होगा, जीन्स तो सेम ही होंगे. तो ऐसी कॉम्प्लेक्स फंक्शन क्या होता है, इसके अंदर हम फंक्शंस के बारे में पढ़ते हैं. जैसे अभी तक आप अगर एक इक्वेशन पढ़ते थे जो कि लिखी होती थी सपोज टू बी लाइक x प्लस 2x स्क्वायर, और वी कॉल इट टू बी y इज इक्वल्स टू x प्लस 2x स्क्वायर. और इसके अंदर हम कोऑर्डिनेट्स कैसे फाइंड आउट करते थे, x की वैल्यूज लेट करते थे एंड देन पुट द वैल्यूज ऑफ x इन द इक्वेशन एंड सिमिलरली correspondingly we find the values of the y. और इस y को हम क्या कहते थे, this y can also be written to be like f of x. We can also write to be like the f of x. What is f over here? F over here is function. And what is this bracket x saying? This is the function of x. Yani the equation which I am having is in the variable x. So you can see that's why we write it to be the function of x over here to be like this. So what is the complex function? Complex function is the sum of the two complex function here, that is u plus iota v. So the function which is in the form of u plus iota v, जहाँ पे आपका u क्या होगा, u is the function of x and y. It means आपका u एक function होगा x और y का, और v is also the function of x and y. What is the meaning of u is the function of x and y? Suppose I am writing like to be f of x comma y. Function of x comma y means I am having the equation in which I am having the x and y variable. Suppose my equation would be 2x cube plus 3y square. This is my equation. If I am talking about the u of xy, it means you write just to be like this, that is u of xy. If you want to find the v of xy, similarly the equation which are having the variable x and y, but if it is associated with the iota, it is called to be the imaginary part, and other than part would be called the real part. So till over here I hope so now it is clear for you what is the imaginary and the real part in the complex function and in the complex number. So what is the general form which I can write for the complex number? So this is the general form which is written over here from the blue part. This is the general form. So general form is what? We write the complex number, that is the z is equals to real part plus iota imaginary part. Now you can consider this to be the 1 point. The 1 point is saying that if the real part is 0, if the real part is 0. What I am saying, suppose this part is 0. If this part is 0, what you left with? So your complex number would be iota into imaginary of z, because your real part is 0. If your real part is 0, then the function or then the complex number or the complex function is said to be the purely imaginary. Then the function is said to be the purely imaginary. Similarly, if your imaginary part is 0, then what it is saying, if your this part is 0, then what you are left with, you will be left with the real part of z only. Then this will be your complex number. So then it is said to be the purely real part. I will also give you the example of what is the purely imaginary or the purely real function. Now let us take the example. So if I am talking about the complex number, so just understand from the complex number, then we will proceed further about the complex function. Suppose the function or the complex number is written to be like the 2 plus 3 iota. This is your what? This is your z. So here 2 is what? 2 is your real part and 3 is your what? Imaginary part. Now what I am saying, if your real part is 0, then if your real part is 0, what you will be left with? You will be left with the 3 iota. Now you can see over here, if the number which is associated with iota is called the imaginary part, then it is said to be, now in the z function we have only the imaginary part, then it is said to be the purely imaginary, because we have no real part. Now if your imaginary part is 0, it means this part will be 0. Then what you will left with the? You will left with the 2 over here. Now you are left over here 2, it means this is what? This is the purely imaginary. It's purely real, not imaginary. I hope so. इधर तक आपको सारी चीजें clear होंगी. Now the next thing which is also you are familiar with, that is the rectangular form and the polar form. The rectangular form is what? The rectangular form is about the function which are in the form of xy, where xy are my coordinates in the xy plane, where my xy coordinates are lying in the xy plane are said to be in the rectangular form. What about the polar form? The polar form is again the function which are in the variable of r comma theta, where r is your radius and theta is your angle. So you can see from here that here what I have written, just remove this part so that you can understand it clearly, that I have written z is equals to u plus iota v is your complex function. Here I have written that u of xy plus iota v of xy. It is your real part and it is your imaginary part. Here u and v are what? U and v are the functions of x and y. But if they are, but this is, you can say these are in the form of rectangular form. These are in rectangular form. What about the polar form? If you write this equation in the polar form, how you will write? You will write z is equals to u of r comma theta. Now your variables will change. If your variables are in form of r comma theta, then it is said to be the polar form. Then it is said to be the polar form. Okay, so in this way you will deal with the polar form and the rectangular form. Now understood some part. So here is about the rectangular form, that is in which you will deal with the x and y coordinates, where x and y coordinate will lie in the you can say the xy plane. But what about the polar form? Here you will be deal with the r and theta, where r belongs to the radius and theta belongs to the some angle. If you are given with the xy coordinate, then you can simply draw the graph by joining the coordinates. But if you are given with the r and theta, how you will draw the graph of this function? Here the length of the radius is given to you. Suppose here the length of the radius is given to you, that is the 3 centimeter, and value of theta will also be given to you. Suppose it is given to you 30 degree. It means how you have to draw the graph? You have to draw the graph on the 30 degree angle, and you have to draw the radius from the origin of the length 3 centimeter, so that will be your polar form of the r comma theta. Suppose this is your coordinate, that is called to be a comma b. Suppose that is your coordinate a comma b, or what you can say, these are the complex numbers, so I can also write to be the a plus iota b. It is nothing but it is just the notation, the way I have written the complex number, that is the x plus iota y. Similarly, in that way I am writing this point as in the complex number, that is a plus iota b. So understood about the polar form. If P is the point in a complex plane corresponding to the complex number AB, there is a point P, एक P point है जो कि complex plane में, suppose this is your P point जिसके coordinates मैंने आपको दे दी A and B, and इनको मैं ऐसे भी लिख सकता हूँ A plus iota B, because ये क्या है, मेरे complex number है. Now what you have to understand, the real part, that is A, the real part in the polar form is equals to what? Is equals to the r cos theta, and your B, that is imaginary part, is equals to the r sin theta. These are the 2 points which you have to remember always in the polar form. If you are given with the 2 points and they are in the polar form, then how you can find the theta and the r? The real part will always be equals to the r cos theta, and the imaginary part is always equals to the r sin theta. Now to find the r square, r is what? R is, now consider this example. In this example, forget about this one. Suppose this is your P point, this is your P point. Now join this dotted line on the x-axis. Now you can see, now it form like the right angle triangle. In the right angle triangle, what you can say, this is your r, because this is your radius, and the P point have the coordinate a comma b. अगर P के a और b coordinate है, so a signifies what? A signifies the distance. From the x-axis, distance on the x-axis, and b coordinate signifies the distance on the y-axis, because b coordinate हम कहाँ देखेंगे? b coordinate यहाँ lie करेगा, so it is on the y-axis, और a coordinate आपका कुछ यहाँ lie करेगा, that is the a and b. So to find the value of r, you can apply the Pythagoras theorem over here. This is your hypotenuse, this is your perpendicular, this is your base. So what is the Pythagoras theorem? Pythagoras theorem says that hypotenuse square is equals to the perpendicular square plus base square. So what is your hypotenuse over here? Hypotenuse is r square, perpendicular is your b square, and base is your a square. So here I have find the similar with the r square. So we know the r is what? R is my radius, and radius is a type of distance, and distance is always positive. If distance is always positive, then I can also write it to be like the in the form of mode. Why in the form of mode? Because we know modulus के अंदर कोई भी वैल्यू आने के बाद it become the positive. जब हमने डिस्टेंस फॉर्मूला पढ़ा था क्लास 10th एंड 12th के अंदर, so we always write the distance in the mod. Why mod? Because distance is always positive, it cannot be negative. So that's why I have written that to be mod of a plus iota v, where r is what? R को हम कहते हैं modulus. R is also called the modulus. So whenever the question comes to you, find the modulus of the complex number or the absolute value of the complex number, then what you have to do, you have to find the r. And what is the r? R is the mod of a plus iota b, or you can say under root a square plus b square. This is your r over here. Now this is your complex number, that is z is equals to a plus iota b, और इसके अंदर अगर हमें mod z की नोटेशन देनी है तो नोटेशन क्या होती है, एक तो हम r से भी दे सकते हैं, either we can also write the mod z or we can also write to be like this mod of z. So these are the donations, or you can say the notations of the modulus or the absolute value of the complex number. Now come to the theta part. This is the way in which you can find the r. This is the way in which you can find the r. Now how to find the theta? For the theta, if you apply, this is the right angle triangle over here. You can see this is the right angle triangle. To find the theta, theta is something which is here. Now you have to find the theta. So in the class 10th and 12th, I have told you to remember the tan, sine and cos. How to remember the tan, sine, cos? So we have Papa, Bear, Pilu, Ha, Beta. That is Papa, Bear, Pilu, Ha, Beta. This is what? This is sine, this is cos, and this is tan. Now you know, to find this theta, what we have to do, we don't know about the r, but we know about a and b value. So the side which is opposite to the theta is what? Is your perpendicular. The side which is opposite to the theta is called your perpendicular, that is b, and the another side would be the base. So p upon b, this is what? P upon b. P upon b is what? 10. So p upon b is what? 10. So in this way we find the theta because we know the value of b and a. So to find the value of theta, we apply the formula tan theta is equals to b by a. Now you have to find the value of theta. What you have to do, you have to shift this tan on the right hand side. So it becomes the tan inverse b by a. So theta is equals to what? Tan inverse b by a. So this is the another formula which you have to remember. This is the first formula, then this is your second formula, then this is your third formula, and this is your fourth formula. These are the four formulae which you have to remember, that the real part is equals to the r cos theta, imaginary part is equals to r sin theta, how to find the modulus and how to find the theta. Where जहाँ पे हम ये थीटा लिख रहे हैं, इस थीटा की कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर में क्या नोटेशन होती है, दैट वी ऑल्सो कॉल इट टू बी द एम्पलीट्यूड. We call it to be the amplitude, or we also say the argument of z. We also say the argument of z. इसकी डिनोशन क्या होती है? We denoted by the argument z, or we use the small a. I will also tell you that why we are using the small a and when we will use the capital A in the argument z later. Okay, so now see about the polar form, that your function is a plus iota b. Now put the values of a and b, where a is your what? A is your r cos theta and b is your what? R sin theta. Now take the r common from both the number, you will be left with cos theta plus iota sin theta. In the place of cos theta plus iota sin theta, what you can write? You can write e raised to the power iota theta. So just I replace this cos theta plus iota sin theta with the e raised to the power iota theta. So this is your polar form where you can use the equation r is equal r e to the power iota theta. R e to the power iota theta. This is your polar form. And what is your rectangular form? Rectangular form we know, that is the x plus iota y. X plus iota y is your rectangular form. And what is the polar form? That is r e to the power iota theta. जहाँ पे r क्या है और theta क्या है? R is your radius and theta is your angle, and they are called the polar coordinates. Rectangular coordinates you know, that is x and y. So this is something which you need to understand about the polar form and the rectangular form. Now come to the amplitude. अभी जो थीटा होता है ना, ये आपका जो थीटा होता है, फर्स्ट अंडरस्टूड अबाउट दी ऑब्जर्वेशन. हम क्या ऑब्जर्वेशन कह रहे हैं, जो हमने मॉड्यूलस निकाला, यानी जो हमने आर की वैल्यू फाइंड आउट करी, वो हमेशा आपकी क्या होगी, सिंगल वैल्यू फंक्शन होगी. सिंगल वैल्यू यानी आपकी सिंगल वैल्यू फंक्शन आएगी, बिकॉज वो क्या है, एक तरीके का डिस्टेंस है. डिस्टेंस कैन नॉट बी इन द फॉर्म ऑफ 10 + x + z. ठीक है, वो कुछ मल्टी वैल्यू फंक्शन नहीं होगा, और वो सिंगल वैल्यू फंक्शन होगी. यानी अगर 10 है तो 10 ही होता है. इट कैन नॉट बी रिटन एज 10.1 10.2. तो मॉड्यूलस और आर क्या होता है, आपका सिंगल वैल्यू फंक्शन होगा. और आर्ग्यूमेंट z आपका 0 नहीं है, हैज ओनली 1 and 1 वैल्यू ऑफ थीटा इन 0 to 2 पाई. यानी जो आपका थीटा होता है आर्ग्यूमेंट z, वेयर आर्ग्यूमेंट z के अंदर आई हैव यूज दी स्मॉल a. तो अगर आपका थीटा 0 से 2 पाई के बीच में होता है, अगर आपका थीटा 0 से 2 पाई के बीच में होता है, तो इधर जो आर्ग्यूमेंट z की वैल्यू होती है वो कैसी होती है, सिर्फ एक वैल्यू मिलती है. लेकिन अगर यही थीटा अगर आपका -π से पाई के बीच में हो जाता है, तब आपको इधर मल्टी वैल्यू फंक्शन मिलती है. एंड देन आई यूज द कैपिटल A विद द डिनोशन ऑफ आर्ग्यूमेंट z. देन आई यूज द कैपिटल A इन द आर्ग्यूमेंट z. सो जब आपका थीटा 0 से 2 पाई के बीच में हो, तब आपको सिंगल वैल्यू मिलेगी. एंड व्हेन योर थीटा इज लाई बिटवीन द -π to π, देन यू विल गेट द मल्टी वैल्यूड फंक्शन. हाउ मल्टी वैल्यूड फंक्शन, यू विल गेट द डिफरेंट वैल्यू. हाउ यू विल फाइंड दैट वैल्यू, यू हैव द फॉर्मूला दैट इज 2kπ + थीटा. 2kπ + थीटा, जहां पर वेयर योर k बिलोंग्स टू द इंटीजर, वेयर योर k बिलोंग्स टू द इंटीजर. So you put the values of the k, that is -1, 1, 0, 2, 4, 6, -6. Similarly, you will get the value of the theta. Okay. So now come to the question part, so that you will get the clarity of the question. So that f of z is given to you about the z square. So if f of z is given to you about the z square, अगर आपको कुछ भी नहीं दे रखा, अगर आपको कुछ भी नहीं दे रखा, तो आपको क्या करना है, आपको अपना जो पोलर फॉर्म, सॉरी नॉट द पोलर फॉर्म, जो रेक्टेंगुलर फॉर्म होती है वो आपको रखनी है, और आपको रियल और इमेजिनरी पार्ट सेपरेट करने हैं. whenever it is given to you like this and nothing is given to you, what you have to find, what you have to do, you just have to put the rectangular form and then find the values of the you can say the real part and imaginary part. So see the solution, how you will solve the solution. You can also note it down all the observation from here by stopping the video. So let's see the question. So your z is what? Your z is x plus iota y, this you know, and what we have to do, we have to find the real part and imaginary part in the rectangular form. And I will also show you that how to find the polar coordinates in this question also. So just put z is equals to x plus iota y. So on the right hand side it will become x plus iota y whole square. And I am assuming that you know the value of the iota. Value of the iota is -1. So iota square will be the -1, and iota cube can be written as iota into iota square, which is equals to minus under root -1, or you can say minus of iota. In this way you find the values of the iota power. Okay, so just apply the identity, that is a plus b whole square over here. So you know the identity of the a plus b whole square is a square plus b square plus 2ab. So your a value is x and b value is iota y. So you will get x square plus iota y square plus 2x into iota y. Now simplify this. So you know iota y square means what? Iota square into y square, and we know the value of iota square is what? Iota square is -1. So iota square is -1, it means I will get minus y square plus iota 2xy. So this is the simplest way. Now compare this equation with the u of xy plus iota v of xy. So if you compare it with this, then you will find that x square minus y square is what is your real part, that is u of xy. So from here what you can say, u of xy is what, x square minus y square. यहाँ पे आप देख पा रहे हैं कि u जो फंक्शन है, it is a function of x and y. It means you are getting the variable x and y in this. And v of xy is what, v of xy, that is the imaginary part. So imaginary part would be the 2xy. Okay. Now if we want to find it in the polar form, so in the polar form we know we have the form what? We have the form z is equals to r e raised to the power iota theta. So just put this value of the z, that is r e raised to the power iota theta. E raised to the power iota theta means r e raised to the power iota theta whole square, because we have the z square. Now open this, you will get r square e raised to the power iota 2 theta. Now put the value of e raised to the power iota 2 theta. So we know that e raised to the power iota theta is what? E raised to the power iota theta is cos theta plus iota sin theta. What would be the e raised to the power 2 iota? E raised to the power iota 2 theta. E raised to the power iota 2 theta means cos 2 theta plus iota sin 2 theta. Simple. So just put the value of e raised to the power iota 2 theta. So you will get f of z is equals to r square cos 2 theta plus iota sin 2 theta. Just open the bracket. When you open the bracket, you will get r square cos 2 theta plus r square iota sin 2 theta. So when you get this, what you have to do next? You have to separate the imaginary and real part. So this is your real part. So this is your real part. Now we are comparing it with the u of r comma theta plus iota v of r comma theta. So from here I will get the real part to be, r square cos 2 theta, and imaginary part would be the r square sin 2 theta. So this is the solution of the given question, that is f of z is equals to z square given to me, and we have to find the real and imaginary part in the rectangular form and the polar form. Now come to the second part. So the second question is given to me, that is f of z is equals to z cube plus z plus 1. Here what we have to find? We have to find the u of xy plus iota v of xy. So here it is given to me u of xy plus v of x, iota v of xy. It means we have to find in the rectangular form. So just put z is equals to x plus iota y, that is f of x plus iota y. You will get x plus iota y cube plus x plus iota y plus 1. Now apply the cubic identity. The cubic identity we know, that is a plus b whole cube is equals to a cube plus b cube plus 3a square b plus 3ab square. So this is the identity, and I hope so you remember this. Now just open the bracket by putting the identity, that is the a cube plus iota y whole cube plus 3 into a square into iota y, that is your b, plus 3 into x into iota y cube, then plus x plus iota y plus 1. Now solve this, you will get x cube minus iota y cube, because we know that iota cube is what? Iota cube is minus iota. Then plus iota 3x square y, and then here is what? Here is, we have to do the square. So it means you will get minus 3xy, because iota square is what? Minus 1. And then plus x plus iota y, and then plus 1. Now separate the real part and imaginary part. So real part is x cube and then minus 3xy, and then plus x, and then plus 1, plus x, and then plus 1. This is your imaginary part, this is your real part, and now separate the imaginary part. So imaginary part is what? Now I have taken the iota common, so it means you will be left with the minus y cube and then 3x square y, 3x square y, and then plus iota y, it means plus y, and then this. Now compare it with the given equation, that is u of xy plus iota v of xy, then you will get your real part, that is this is should be equal to the u of xy, and this part is your imaginary part, and this should be equal to the v of xy. So I hope so the question is clear to you, and it is very easy and interesting question. Similarly in this way, so this is for your homework, that you have to find this question in the polar form. It means that you have to find the real and imaginary part in the polar form. Now come to the last part. Is f of z is equals to z plus 1 upon z. Here we have to find the complex function in the variable r and theta. It means we have to find this in the polar form. So in the polar form we know that is z is equals to r e raised to the power iota theta. Here f of z is given to me, that is z plus 1 upon z. Can I write to be like this, z plus z to the power minus 1, because 1 upon z can be written as z to the power minus 1. Now put this value of z in the given question, that is r e raised to the power iota theta. Just put this, you will get r e raised to the power iota theta plus r e raised to power iota theta whole to the power minus 1. It means when you solve this, you will get r e raised to power iota theta plus r inverse e raised to the power iota minus theta. Can I write to be like this? Okay. Now we know that e raised to the power iota theta is what? Cos theta plus iota sin theta. What is e raised to power minus theta? Iota minus theta. It will be cos minus theta plus iota sin minus theta. In the class 11th, we remember that cos minus x, when the angle is negative, the sign will not change, it will be as it is, that is the cos x. But when we talk about the sin x, that is sin minus x, then sign that is minus sign will come outside and the sign of the angle will change. Just apply this method or apply this concept over here, you will get e raised power iota minus theta, that is cos minus theta, you will get cos theta, and then sin minus theta you will get minus outside, that is minus sin theta. Just put these values in the above question so that you will get f of r e raised to the power iota theta is equals to r cos theta plus iota sin theta, then plus r inverse cos theta minus iota sin theta. Then now open the bracket and separate the real and imaginary part. You will get r cos theta plus iota r sin theta plus r inverse cos theta minus iota r inverse sin theta. Now separate the real and imaginary part. So r cos theta plus r inverse cos theta. This is your real part. And what is your imaginary part? Your imaginary part is iota r sin theta minus iota r inverse sin theta. Now take the common part. So from the real part I can take the cos theta common. So you will get r plus r inverse, and in the imaginary part you can take iota and sin theta common, then you will get r minus r inverse. When you compare it with the above given equation, this is your real part, that is u of r comma theta, and this is your imaginary part, that is v of r comma theta. So I hope so the question is clear to you. Similarly in that way the above question we have tried in the rectangular form. So this is the part of your homework, that is you have to find this in the rectangular form and comment in the section that how you like this video, and if you like this video please like, subscribe and share.